What's going on, guys? Jose here. We're doing something a little bit different today. So in this cooler here, we got the head of a big old wahoo that Alvise, standing behind the camera, got the other day while I was out filming the last video.
Wasn't just me.
Well, yeah, it was Alvise and Claire. Claire's not here with us at the present moment, but definitely mention her, include her. She'll be in it at some point in the video. And I wasn't there that day. I was on the kayak filming the last video, so I missed out on possibly one of the biggest wahoo caught around here. And what are you doing there?
Shaking your head.
Okay, just keep it straight.
Okay, all right.
Keep it straight. Okay. So I wasn't here that day, but Alvise wanted me to see the head and talk about a little bit of the story. So yeah, Alvise wanted me to see the head and talk a little bit about the story, how it went down and whatnot. Because I didn't even get to see the thing before they filleted it. So I've been told it's humongous, this head. So you smell it, yeah. So
I got the tail too in there.
Do you really have the tail?
Oh yeah.
Dang. So whenever you're ready, I'll open it up and we'll get a look at this head.
All right, go for it.
All right, let's see. Hold the fuck up. That's a monstrous tail.
Well, take it out.
Dude, look at the size of that tail.
Here.
That's the biggest wahoo tail I've probably seen. Definitely close.
Hold it up against your body so I can see it. There we go.
This is against my face. Look how big this thing is. This is a big tail. Definitely no small little fish.
How wide is it? You got the ruler on the cooler.
I mean...
No, other way.
Oh, this way. It's at 0, it's 14 inches across. At 0 and at 14. So that's a big tail.
Well, technically, you gotta go to the side.
Yeah, I had 0. Okay, around 14, maybe a hair over 14. That's a big tail.
Well, look at the girth of it. You know where you put your hand around it?
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Like the base?
It's definitely probably a couple inches in circumference. Probably like 5 inches around. That's a thick, hardy tail right there.
Yeah, with the skin on it, you couldn't put 2 hands around them.
Really? Oh yeah.
You know, it was that fat.
Damn.
It was like a baseball bat.
I mean, yeah, it feels like holding a baseball bat, you know? Definitely that thickness. That's pretty monstrous. So now, let's put this bad boy back. Let's go digging around. Are you guys seeing this?
You gotta pick it up.
Oh my god, dude, this thing is a monster. Holy shit. Guys, this is the head from a 94-pound
Here, close
wahoo.
it.
Dude, I could stick my face in there if I wanted to.
Yeah, you could.
94 pounds this fish was.
Hold it sideways like you would a picture.
Jesus Christ, this thing weighs like 10 pounds.
Hold his mouth open. So imagine if that was the whole fish.
Holy shit, that's a monstrous fish, dude. Dude, look at the size of that head.
Put it down on the cooler. So that's a pretty big cooler. It's a 120 igloo, like long ways.
Big one. I mean, a little over 36 inches long. Let's see how long this thing is, actually. If we put it at 0.
It's half the size of a 36-inch.
I mean, the bone from before the fin down here is at 19. So I add the pectoral fins, it's
26 inches long.
Yeah, I mean, this thing is a monstrous head. Probably weighs like 10 pounds.
More than that.
10, 15 pounds, I mean, holy shit.
Hold it like you would. There you go.
Damn, this is a big fish, dude. Holy cow, man. Look at the size of this head. This is the biggest one I've ever seen.
Yeah.
This is monstrous. Absolutely monstrous. Look at that mouth. You could easily fit like a 10-pound bonita. Careful.
Look at his tongue. It's like a cow tongue.
You could fit a 10-pound bonita in this thing's mouth, no problem. Absolutely no problem. This thing is absolutely monstrous. Holy, I'm literally.
Do a thickness of his head, like Top Shot. There.
Look how thick that is. I mean, dude, this thing is monstrous. What the hell? Holy cow. And what Alvise and Bobby are gonna do, they're gonna try and get the meat off the bones and basically reconstruct the skull to have it as a mount. So we'll have it to remember. I mean, this dude, this dwarfs any other Wahoo head I've seen.
Well, hell, it's the size of most Wahoo people catch out here. You know, weight-wise.
Yeah, right? I mean, this thing is bigger. This thing probably weighs more than some of the Wahoo I've seen on docks. You know? Those little 10, 15 pounders that people are like, oh my god, we caught a Wahoo. This is a fucking Wahoo right here.
94 pounds.
Yep.
Female state record.
Yeah, because Claire caught it. So it qualifies as a female all-tackle record in the state of Florida. 94 pounds.
We beat it by 12 pounds.
Oh, blew it out of the water. Holy shit. We'll definitely include a bunch of pictures in this video. I don't know at what points, but Alvise and Claire have plenty of pictures and videos from the fight, so with their permission, I'll include it in this video.
Wow.
I mean, this thing is, look at that. Dude, just looking at it.
Yeah, put your head closer, we'll get a size comparison.
Back up a little bit so you can see it.
No, it's perfect.
Dude. Dude, you could fit a big bonita down in there. No problem. No problem. Dude, I can't even, I'm struggling to hold this thing. Let's get it back on ice. Look at that jaw. I can literally stick my whole fist in there.
And he's been on ice for about 4 days now.
Yeah. Wow.
Put the tail next to his head. Take your flip-flop off. Stick it in there for a size comparison. I got boots on.
Well, my flip-flops are broken, but that's like a size 11 flip-flop. Broken, but it works. Look at the size difference.
Very nice.
Dude, holy cow, this is monstrous.
I don't even know how to put the tail in there. Just like that. Alright. R.I.P.
Rest in pepperonis. Alright guys, so we're going to continue this video here. We're actually at Claire's house right now with Claire, who doesn't want to be on camera right now, and the Captain Alvise, who's meandering his way over here to discuss a little bit about what happened, how it went down, how the fight happened, and whenever you're ready, Cappy.
Got the red carpet rolled out?
I mean, on a tile floor, yes. So I thought we could talk beginning about how the day started off. You know, did you miss a fish? Was that the only bite? How were the conditions?
You know, it starts off early every morning. We wake up about, first alarm goes off about 3:30. So that day, like no other, you know, alarm went off. You want to throw the phone against the wall. Load the truck up, do all that stuff. So let's talk about on the water. We had west wind conditions, outgoing tide, and it was a pretty good moon phase of what I remember. Some people like the new moons and the full moons, some people don't, but it was right where we liked it. We've caught a lot of big fish on the phase before. So right. It was actually Claire and I, we went out, it was a Tuesday, and we started early as usual, ran the same pattern, cooked a fish right off the bat, and
I'm assuming you pulled a hook on that one.
Yeah, we pulled the hook on it. It took about 10 feet of line, and that was about it.
Yeah, those things are notorious.
We think it was a barracuda just by the way the teeth marks were on it. So, you know, that was some action's better than no action. And then we fiddled around in that area a little more. Thought we saw some life, saw a couple bait fish, nothing really. It's actually, I had a couple friends out there that day. Chase on the Real Rival, and then Chris on the Naughty V. They were a little downstream from us a little bit, so I called them to see what was up. They said the conditions were pretty good, so we headed down that way, and
they weren't catching anything that day. It was just looked pretty good. But
no, I think Chris got out there. I think he got a king right off the bat.
That's good.
You know, those guys are charter fishing, so meat in the box is good.
Yeah, you know, they need anything they can get.
And we circled around a little bit. And that's the time of the year when you had that outgoing tide. You get the dirty water from all the afternoon sun, you know, right?
Right.
So the dirty water met the clean water, and there was a nice weed line.
Mm-hmm.
And we trolled along that for probably about a quarter mile, hooked up on a nice fish. Swore it was a wahoo, ended up being about a 5-foot barracuda.
That happens plenty of times.
And so I was like, you know, getting a little frustrated. And I had to be at work at 9. So I'm looking at the clock, kind of plotting my course, how far I want to go, how many turns do I want to do, get back in, wash the boat. Do I want to stay out? Do I want to show up to work a little late? So we went off a little deeper, and I told Claire to go to a certain depth. And Claire didn't listen. Claire overshot the depth.
Wasn't paying attention.
So I looked up at the screen, and I remember thinking, oh my God, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything. So we got a bite, a really good bite. I was actually sending our buddy Chad a video of the barracuda run. He's like, oh, that better be a wahoo. And I'm right in the middle of responding. It was a cuda. And the same rod went off again, and it took a smoking run and pulled the hook. So, you know, that was another low blow.
It was all hot and heavy, and what's wrong with these fish? You know, are these hooks made of plastic? You know.
I knew it was a wahoo. You know, nothing really pulls 30 pounds of drag at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, there's some runs, you know, like a kingfish, you know, even a barracuda, they'll pull a little bit, but they really won't smoke a 50 wide like that.
And we're fishing 50 wide tackle.
Yeah, I mean, we're fishing 50 wides, you know, heavy tackle that most fish, yeah, they'll pull a little bit of drag, but they're not gonna smoke that thing. And when you get a run like that, that just goes and goes and goes, you know, it's usually one fish around here that does that.
But other than that, we had that one on for probably 30 or 40 seconds.
Yeah.
And just pulled the hook. You know, it happens, it's fishing. But what made me believe was a wahoo was what he did to the lure. So, got upset, said a couple choice curse words.
Venting your frustrations.
And Claire said, you know, let's do another circle and go back through there. So we went back through there again, got the line in the water. I go over to the other side of the boat. I was thinking to myself, as I was about to put on the razzle and dazzle, right? So I'm back there saying some choice words, making sure the hooks are sharp on the razzle and dazzle, getting that ready to go. Right,
we got nicknames, code names for everything. So the razzle and dazzle is a special lure of ours that we've caught a lot of big ones. And some pictures of ones we've caught on that lure.
On that combination, we've probably put,
I'd say well over 100 pounds.
Just in 1.5 fish.
Well,
you know, we got the 73 pounder on that.
Yeah, and then we got the big one last year, George, on that one, like 50 plus on that one.
Yeah, so that one, and then I had a couple 30 and 40 pounders with Nick Thomas.
Yeah.
So realistically, we're probably 400 pounds of meat.
It's one of our top producers, you know.
So
never going to show the exact color combo, but that's just codename Razzle and Dazzle.
So, like I said, we were getting ready to put that one out, and my blue rod, we call it the Jimmy Buffett rod. I bought the Tiagra from Jimmy Buffett a couple of years ago. So that one, I watched it, and it was kind of like, it was weird, because if you ever, you know, do some wahoo fishing, and there's obviously a lot of weeds out there these days, you can see where the weeds pull.
Right.
The rod kind of pulls down, and then the bait pulls through the weeds, and then you kind of So I watched that, and it was just, and I'm looking around, I'm like, I haven't seen weeds in, 30 minutes.
That's good.
So I went back there and I played him for a second, and yeah, he came up, and what happened was he thumped the rod, so he brought it way down, and then it shot back up, and I'm like, what the hell? So that's why I thought it was weeds. And then I realized there was no weeds, so then I went into my blue marlin pattern, where we know how to feed the blue marlin, tease the blue marlin.
Kind of play him a little bit, cat and mouse a little bit.
Exactly, so that happened, and 10 seconds later, I mean, the rod just, because we're fishing bent butts, rod just loaded up, just got real heavy, and then took off. And then I told Claire to get on the reel. I was the only line in the water.
I wasn't there that day. I was out fishing the previous video that you guys saw in the kayak. So Claire had to help him out and really step up to the plate and really put the effort and get this fish in. So good job.
So at first, I was kind of, we caught probably, over the course of that week, we probably caught 25-foot barracudas. World-class barracuda fishing, by the way.
Oh yeah. There's a world-class spot right out here. So
she was fighting the fish, and I was kind of, man, that barracuda's really fighting. You got the biggest barracuda of the year. Start going back and forth with it, and then it started, because we were heading.
We're heading offshore.
Not at the time, but usually, we have the same routine every time we hook a fish. We know what to do, from me fishing down island, understanding how bad the sharks can be, what you have to do to get the fish off the reef. So I didn't go into that pattern yet, but what was weird about this one was that, it was hauling it, I don't want to curse, but it was going.
It was moving.
And, we have very tight drag, super strong hooks, heavy wire, no fluorocarbon. So he was on there and he was set. So usually if you hook a fish like that and you can slow him down after the first run, you have a good shot landing that fish.
Right. Usually after that point, it's just they're using their own weight. Once they get really, really big, maybe like 50, 60 pounds plus, they start using their weight as kind of leverage. And so you kind of have to ease them up from the depths.
So as like I said, we only had the one line in the water. So I'm getting my gloves on because that one, I have the shock leader.
Right, we got to hand line it to the end there.
So, and I'm watching this thing and it's kind of cruising with the boat a little bit. I'm looking at the line and I have bright colored braid for this specific reason. And I'm kind of watching it scope way out to the port side. When I say port side, I always call it ports left, right
Port
starboard,
side,
looking at the front of the boat, no matter if you're looking at the back of the boat. So it's coming out to the port side. If you're looking back, it'd be the starboard side, but it's the port side. So it's coming out to the port side, and she's reeling and reeling and reeling, and she's been doing a great job on the reel. So what happened was that the reel started to stall, and I'm like, I kept giving her more hard time. And I'm thinking, maybe it's a sailfish. A lot of sailfish in August in South Florida.
Maybe it's a world record barracuda.
Yeah. So I started, picking on her and teasing her a little bit, and It really didn't, it took a lot of line, but everything takes a lot of line these days, it seems like. So it really I didn't really start to think it was a big wahoo until it started coming closer to the boat. And I have marks on my braid, so I know exactly the length that it's out.
Right.
And I kept saying, okay, the next one. Okay, the next one.
Right, so you can kind of estimate, knowing what color it starts on, you can say, okay, it's 100 yards, 150 yards, 40 yards, whatever out.
Yeah, so we have different color rubber bands for every 50 yards. Sometimes they slide a little bit, but rough estimate 50 yards, every rubber band. So, and I kept telling her one more, trying to cheer her on, give her some confidence, one more, and then all of a sudden the rod, I remember, started to slowly load up. Next thing you know, the rod's been almost halfway touching the water.
Really?
Like we'd be fighting a daytime swordfish.
Really?
And, at that point, when you get into that kind of a battle with the big wahoo, and the reason why I think we were successful in landing this one is because I was in this position twice last year, And now I'm thinking that other one we lost was a big Wahoo because it fought the exact same way. Only I think that one was bigger.
Really?
And
which one?
the 2 trips before we got the one with George, I don't want to say the month.
Mm-hmm.
But you remember we straightened the hooks. We literally straightened the hooks.
Yeah, we had a trip where we hooked what we think was a giant Wahoo that ran for like 3 minutes straight before bending the hook out. You could see here, the hook just gave out, and that was the first time we've ever had.
And it fought the exact same way. I played in the exact same way. The rod loaded up the exact same way. And there's only a couple fish in this ocean that can pull 30 pounds of drag. I'm telling you, at 100 miles an hour.
No problem. No problem. You know, some fish will pull a little bit and tire out, most rather, but only a handful really just charge like that.
So as I was saying, you know, I'm trying to cheer Claire on. I'm looking over the side of the boat. Where the hell is that final mark? Mm-hmm. You know, come on, one more. It came like 5 or 6 times. And poor Claire, you know, she's just right-handed it, just, you know, did not want to lose this fish. Her face was red as a beet, sweating. Lots of sweat.
Yeah, no, those things it's a brawl. I mean, I've been on the reel plenty of times, and you know, 50, 60, 70 pounders, and you take what you can get. You know, you reel, and then the fish says no, I'm not coming in. You say okay, I'm just gonna wait here.
As I was getting at with losing the 3 fish that was bigger than this one last year was that when you know we started doing a lot of filming on the boat, and it's such a great tool to have the filming because you can go and watch an instant replay,
right,
and look at it and say, okay, next time I'm going to do this, next time I'm going to do that, next time we're going to use more drag, less drag,
you know. Yeah, that's actually a really under discussed, you know, aspect of fighting a wahoo is really maintaining that drag, because those fish are so unpredictable, especially when they get close to the boat. You know, they can go from 20 yards behind the boat to 40 yards in front of the boat in a heartbeat. And
after fighting for 20 minutes.
Yeah, after fighting for 20, 30 minutes.
And so then now, you know, and that I know exactly what you're talking about. That was with Real Dreams, that 73-pounder.
Yeah, so if you're not on the ball and cognizant of every single little detail, such as how you adjust the drag, how you maneuver the boat, you could very easily lose the fish. Just like that.
So we were getting into this stalemate, is what you call it with swordfish, when they're in the thermal climb, you're straight up and down. You know, we would get 5 feet, fish would take 10. We'd get 5 feet, fish would take 10. It did that about 5 or 6 times. So we're straight up and down with this fish, and we were somewhere near the moon. So we had a lot of current. And by this time, we drug the fish so far offshore that we were really fighting the current.
Right, you're in deeper water because a lot of sharks out here, so usually we'll take the fish, run it 500-600 feet offshore.
A lot more than that.
Or even 1,000 feet of water sometimes, just so you can assure that you are nowhere near the sharks and you're not losing a big wahoo, kingfish, mahi, whatever to the sharks.
So we fish pretty heavy leaders, pretty heavy shock leaders, and you know, a fish like that, they're in complete control. You know, you're not going to muscle in a 90, 50, 40-pound wahoo. When he wants to go, he's going to go.
Right.
So, you know, I'm thinking in my mind, all 3 fish that we lost, everything that I did wrong, what can I do to this one? So we start getting the fish a little closer. And I have a system where I kind of know when the weight's coming up. So I saw it and I was like, oh my God, it's right there. So put on my gloves, and by the way, this is Claire's first wahoo fight.
Her first time ever catching a wahoo.
So I'm explaining, okay, once you go from because there's only 2 of us, and I've said it for years, you need 4 people to land a big fish. You need 1 to drive, 1 to be the angler, 1 to wire it, 1 to gaff it.
Ideally, in an ideal world, that would be ideal setup.
So we're sitting here, and I'm trying to explain, you know, and at this point when the fish was up and down, it's a driving situation. There is no gaining. You're literally trying to sneak the boat on top of the fish, so the fish makes a mistake and you get some line and then hold him there. Does it again, gets a little more line.
Right.
Because he was just down in the current. He wasn't coming up.
Yeah, they used their weight just to sit there and as leverage. And you know, like he's saying, it's really a battle of who makes the first mistake.
We had one, not going to say the month. It was me, Chad, and Nick. Same situation, same fight. Only difference was I put my hands on the leader too soon, and I kind of pissed him off on how hard I pulled it. And fish took another run, and he broke 130-pound braid, double bimini in the rod tip. 2 lines.
Yeah.
Snapped it. I thought the rod broke. Lost the weight, lost the lure, lost the shock leader, lost the hook. So, you know, $70 mistake.
Yeah, no, it's a big mistake. And so, you know, mistakes like that, people, you know, will say, oh, like, how did you know how to catch that fish? How did you get so lucky to catch a 94-pounder? It's, you know, because you've made mistakes losing other 180, 70-pounders. So you've learned over the years how to, you know, do every little step perfectly. So like what he was saying with this Claire's for first time fighting a fish like that, he had to kind of explain on the fly how to understand every aspect of it, you know. I mean, I wish I was there because we've hooked a lot of big wahoo, caught a lot of big wahoo together, so we're always on the same page when we're fighting a fish, and so I know what he needs to know, and I know how to convey that information, and I know what's going on, so it makes it easier on him. So that just makes, you know, even more credit to both of you guys for getting that fish in, you know, because that's not something that, you know, the average person can just, oh, reel it in and here you go.
And so now, you know, here comes our shot. So I'm telling Claire, okay, as soon as this comes up, back the drag down 2 clicks, go to the steering wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, she did everything perfectly. So I took over on the shock leader, and I took a wrap, and I held him there. And we fish pretty thick shock leaders. Mm-hmm. And when your shock leader stretches,
right,
and you're not pulling the fish,
that's when you're okay, you know, I got to back off a little bit.
So I took a wrap, and I tried pulling them up, and you could feel when your shock leader stretches. You don't pull the fish, your shock leader stretches like a rubber band, because
mm-hmm.
when you're using mono, you have a little bit of stretch.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, you know, and I was relaying to her, go a little right, go a little left. Right. I held him there for probably, 2 minutes? Just held him in the same position. And
right, you want to just let that fish, whenever he's ready to come up, you know, you want to position the boat, because you can't move around a fish like that. You have to use the boat to position your angle on the fish.
So now we're straight up and down. The fish is hiding in the shadow of the boat.
Mm-hmm.
We're straight up and down. And, you know, I'm just hanging on, and I feel him, and my hands just going doom, doom, doom.
That sounds like he's shaking his head and just you know, beating his tail and just kind of cruising.
He was, I mean,
he didn't care. He's just minding his own business.
In total control.
Yeah.
So one of the theories that we use blue marlin fishing is it's called the donkey method, is what we call it on our boat.
Mm-hmm.
The harder you pull, the harder they pull.
Right. It's kind of similar to the big snook too.
It's like walking your dog. You know,
right.
If you kind of slowly coast your dog this way, he's gonna come. If you sit there and yank on him, he's gonna sit. Yeah, you know. So
right.
Fish, and I held him there. So then next thing I remember is just, oh my God, fish is coming up. Fish is coming up.
Right.
Fish is coming up. Usually when you're wahoo fishing, big wahoo, you'll get one shot, and that only one shot comes when that fish is checking out what the hell has him hooked.
Right.
So he comes up to check out the situation,
mm-hmm.
figure out if he can kill it,
mm-hmm.
or he can run away from it.
Right.
Like that one with George. Big, what was that, 55, 60 pounder?
Something like that.
Came up right on the surface, real slow. Yeah. Came up right to the outside, saw the boat, did a slow circle, saw the boat, beautiful, it was flat calm, glass flat, in the middle of the kayakers, right? Remember that? We were hooked up and we were yelling at the kayakers to get out of our way.
I think so. I have to go back and watch the video from that. It's been a while.
So I remember, because I was on the gaff, he was 5 feet away. He comes up, looks at the boat, almost poked his head out of the water, does a circle like this, and just slowly kicks away like a big snook, holding 30 pounds of drag down.
It's like it's nothing.
Like it's nothing. So fish is coming up. I start thinking, oh crap, I forgot to put my second gaff on the boat from that hurricane scare we had. So now we're down to one gaff.
The time you need that thing is not around.
I see him coming up. He's coming up and he's hiding under the boat the whole time. I never saw the fish the whole entire time until my hand was almost at the lure. And I said, oh my God, this is the biggest one I've ever seen out here. And I have a really strong 6 foot AFCO. It's a swordfish gaff.
Right, no, it's a heavy duty, thick fiberglass.
A lot of guys, they use these whippy kingfish gaffs where you gaff the fish and
the gaff is, it's like a pool noodle.
Yeah, you just go home with that. Don't even try.
Yeah. So
this fish, he was coming up. He came up on the port side. So he came up like this. I mean, straight up. I never saw him the whole time. I just
really.
Soon as I had him here, he just got light.
Really.
Coming up. So I'm wrapping him. Fish is coming up, and then all of a sudden you just see that black back right there. I said, oh, and then I mean this thing was almost 80 inches long. So
I mean that I can imagine just seeing that black back.
So I said, Claire, hand me that gaff. So I wrap him, hold him. I go to gaff, and the fish just literally just shakes the gaff off the shoulder like that.
Really?
So I start saying, oh my God. So I gaff him again, and the fish was so fat this way that the gaff was we could only get a skin shot out of him. And I'm hitting him in the head, and it keeps ripping out. It's just skin. So somehow we get the fish close to the boat, and I said, screw the gaff. I leaned over on the gunnel, and I grabbed the fish, and I started screaming, get the anchor rope, we got to tail rope him. So Claire runs to the bow, gets the whole anchor chain, everything. This is, I swear to God, true story. I'm holding the fish by the tail, right?
Is this right? You didn't tell me this part. Yeah, come here. You guys didn't tell me this part.
Really?
Yeah, we had to tail rope it.
Yeah.
Whoa, you didn't tell me you had to go grab the anchor rope while you were bear hugging the thing.
Yeah, so the fish came. I gotta.
Wait. So first of all, he's hanging on to the fish. The gaff is sticking out of it.
The gaff was 100% useless.
He's yelling at me, gaff it again. I'm like, excuse me, you want me to do what? You're yelling at me to go grab the anchor.
So then the next thing, wicked tuna moment, tail roping, right? What the hell are we gonna do? This Wahoo is, I have a 23-foot boat. This damn thing was 4 inches wide, 4 inches shorter than the width of my boat, right?
Yeah.
So now I got this big thing, so I just grab it. I'm not letting this thing go. So the head somehow ended up by the engines, and the tail was forward. So I'm hanging in this thing. I'm screaming, Claire, hurry up. She comes, right? So I tell her how to put the loop on. She puts the loop around the tail, things fighting her. Get the rope on, right? Claire's hanging on. Somehow or another, I worked my way. I knew the gaff was useless. Like I hit him 3 times in the head. One shot, he straight up just denied me. Just like swatted it away from me, right? And I have a
a good gaff, good solid gaff.
So now the fish is, if you can picture this, the fish turned on its side and just kicking. And I mean, you know how powerful those things are.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking, oh my God, he's gonna run. So now the tail is forward, the head is aft, right? And we're talking longer than my arm span. And he's just
kind of just chilling.
So he gives me a shot, right? So now the fish comes up. I work my way towards his head. I grab him under the gills with one hand and then lock the other hand in like you would Bill a blue marlin. So now I got him by the neck, right? Underneath the gills where you hold him for a picture.
Right.
And he's shaking. I'll never forget the way how big his eye was looking at me and the way that his face was structured. It almost looked like an angry cartoon. You know when they get the V around their eye and it's like angry?
Yeah.
So I'm hanging on to this thing and I'm freaking out. It's a big Wahoo and the rod's in the way, the gaff's in the way. We had the rope on him. So, at that time, let's let him die.
Right.
Let's get him in the boat.
Right.
So the gaff was useless. I have a catamaran, so we usually bring all the fish over 50 pounds through the door.
Right, because it's got a low transom in the back, so it's easy to kind of just scoop them up and in,
So I end up grabbing this thing by the neck. I'm holding by the neck. He's shaking me, dude. I'm not letting go. And then I plant myself, put my knees against the gunnel, and couldn't get him the first time. Couldn't get him the second time. It took 4 tries. And finally, the 4th try, I was squeezing him too, trying to choke him to death.
Right.
I was squeezing him, yelling, and I finally was able to get the momentum like an alligator head. Once you get the head up,
right,
take a breath, plant your feet, slide him in.
Right.
So I pulled the thing in by his face.
Damn.
So anyway, I got the fish coming and I start screaming and I throw him on the deck and I look at Claire. I just said, oh my God. You know, I was calling him 80, 85, right?
Right.
The word 90 didn't even come out of my mouth.
Right.
Everybody else was saying it except for you.
Yeah, so the first person I called was, I called Chase. I always call Chase first person when we land a Wahoo.
Mm-hmm.
Then I called, while that was going on, I go to check my phone to call Chris. He sends me a picture. He's got a 40-pounder in the boat.
Really?
Same time.
Really?
He's like, look at this, we got a 40-pounder. I call him up. I say, Chris, bro, where are you? He's like, oh, I'm out here. And because I saw him on the horizon. And I was like, dude, man, I really hate to do this in front of a charter, but I really need a picture of this fish. None of us can pick him up.
What do you say to that?
We couldn't pick him up.
No,
we
it
could
took
not.
2 of us.
We could not pick this fish up. I mean, the adrenaline was going. You know, it was early. You know, shit, we're up at 3:30 in the morning.
Right.
So we already had a full day in both sides. The sun's coming up.
Right.
So I call him. I'm like, man, you know, because I really hate to brag in front of those guys' charters. You know, it's not very polite to do that. Show off your catch while those people are hiring professionals. So I said, man, you know, this is a really special fish. I really need a picture of it. He's like, yeah, come over, no problem. Super cool. Thank you, Chris, by the way.
Yo, I'll link Chase's and Chris's charter information if you guys are interested in checking
So,
out. Great guys, good friends.
So
of ours.
now I'm looking. Chris is right next to our boy Gino.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So I cleared everything, right? So Gino is running his pattern. I don't want to say the pattern Gino runs, but we know Gino's pattern very well.
Yeah, Gino is someone that's given us issues on the water over the
Gino
years.
has cost me a lot of money over the years. He just likes to bully people with that big boat.
Right.
And
yeah.
I have one of the smallest boats out there, so he picks on me a lot. So anyway, Gino was coming east. We were coming from, we were almost off 5-6 miles away by the time we landed this fish.
Really?
So we came southwest, came from the northeast to the southwest. Gino's coming out, dude. I didn't even care.
Ran right by him, showing him.
Right in front of him, dude. He flipped me the bird or something, and then he sees me pull alongside Chris Agardy, right?
Yeah.
Chris Agardy was trolling. He had his whole spread out.
Really?
So he's like, you guys gotta be. I don't know if he thought we only had a 50-pounder or a 60-pounder, but he's like, you guys gotta be quick, man. We still got lines in the water. He said, okay, just give us one picture. I said, all right, Claire, 1, 2, 3. We held it up. Chris Agardy, I will never forget that. He's on the bow. Oh my God, freaking out. His charter takes out their phones and starts taking pictures of it. Really? Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And Gino kind of circled around, and obviously he saw us holding up that fish.
He's probably
So now we've run into Chase. Mm-hmm. And Chase sees us. We run into Chase. We take pictures. We took probably 4 or 5 pictures, a couple different ways. Mm-hmm. And at this time, the fish was on the deck for probably 25 or 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. So it was time to get ice on him. Right. So we went to the fuel dock, tried to find Hunter. Hunter was off.
Oh, Hunter.
So anyway, we get back to the dock. I called a couple friends, very big fish. We needed help getting this thing out of the boat.
I don't think most people could lift a fish like that out of the boat on their own.
So we called Chad and called Ryan, and these are all Wahoo nuts. Everybody loves Wahoo.
Yeah, you guys have seen Chad before. Caught a big snook with him, been kingfished, and he's come with the snapper fishing before. Good friend of ours.
So then these guys were like, oh, you gotta weigh it. And I was like, I don't know. I knew it was a big fish, and I really like to be under the radar. Yeah. I don't like putting my stuff out there that I'm catching this, I'm catching that. So I was like, let's just call it 85, call it a day. 85 is a good number. They're like, no, this is 100, this is 100. So they ended up shying me into weighing it. And Ryan was nice enough to go home and get the biggest fish bag he had, brought it back to the boat along with some ice, and it took me, Ryan, Chad, and Claire to get it out of the boat. Wow. Safely. Anybody can just throw it up on the dock, but you'll probably cut yourself.
Right, and those teeth are still incredibly sharp soon after they're dead.
So, get it up there, get it in the bag. Took 4 of us to lift it in the truck with all the ice. Then we go, okay, where are we gonna weigh it? Well, then we thought we'd take it to Boynton Fisherman. They have a scale because we needed somewhere around a 200-pound scale because we didn't know if it was over 100 or not. So went to Boynton Fisherman. Their scale was too short to the ground. Couldn't get full weight of the fish with the head on the ground.
Right.
So then the shell down the street has a high enough hook. So Ryan, what we did was we took Ryan's scale, hooked it to that one because it's not a, I don't know how to describe it, but he's a big Wahoo and Kingfish guy, so he's got
so he's got a big professional, like tournament grade scale.
Yeah, so he hooks it up, and we had to back the truck up to the scale. It was like coming into a tournament, but in a truck, you know.
Right.
Backing the truck up to the scale, hooked the tail up, swung the head around the tailgate, and I turned around and I didn't look. He goes, "Holy shit, it's 94," and I saw it was under the 9. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Really? Wow.
So
94 on the dot.
Yeah.
On the dot.
It could. I mean, it was.
It might be a little bit of rounding error, but I mean, you're not good around that much off.
And we lost a little blood. We should have sewed his mouth shut. I learned that from the 155 pounder that George got down south. Turned out to be 144 after it threw up some yellowfins.
The one with Polveromo?
Yeah. And Ray McConnell.
You showed me that picture.
That was a big wahoo.
That was a big wahoo.
So, then we had to let the fish firm up a little bit. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning at that time.
Yeah, so that fish had been dead for a good bit of time. Maybe like an hour or so, something like that.
So then we brought the fish back to the table, and then Chad and his father were nice enough to help us get it on the table. And then while I was cleaning it, you had to get a guy on each end to roll the fish.
Right, so you can get both sides of the fish done.
And then spin them around and do all that.
It's an ordeal with a fish that big.
And we have a pretty small community where we keep the boat, so the whole damn town was up there looking at it. So we kept the head, kept the tail. I'm sure you'll see that.
Yeah, that was the beginning part of the video. Likely we'll put it there. I haven't figured it out yet. So
then, there you go.
So you got a whole lot of calls from people who wanted information, You had some wonderful fish dinners for a couple of days after that. You can't really complain about that. I mean, it's better fish than anything you can buy in a restaurant, really. So that's a pretty incredible story. I mean, we've been through some pretty crazy, experiences with Wahoo together, but really, really wish I was there. But I'm glad we were able to sit down and talk about details that I wasn't even told about before.
Yeah, we wanted to, we just, it's nice to put stuff out there, especially with the interwebs and stuff. You can see 15 years down the road what the hell you did.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I started saying, screw it, I'm going to bring a camera with me.
We thought about, because by the way, we broke the state record by 12 pounds.
For a female angler, yes, broke the state record.
By 12 pounds.
Yes.
So, we wanted to take it to the paper, but I know Jose has a channel and he's trying to expand the channel, and long story short, we've been talking about doing a Wahoo video for a while now, so I just said, hey Jose, let's get something on film.
Yeah, unfortunately I wasn't there in person, but I just wanted to share the story and sit down and discuss it. And we also, for a while, we've been wanting to have a conversation just about Wahoo fishing in general. Where it was,
what it was and where it is now.
Right. So if you guys have any questions, anything you want to ask about that, it could be anything super basic, how to generally catch them, because we have our secrets, we got our code names,
Yeah, we don't give handouts for free.
Yeah,
if you want it, you got to earn it.
But we'll help you generally point you in the right direction, or it's something more advanced, like whatever you're interested in. Leave a comment down below. and we'll try and get to it in that video. But yeah, no, we also wanted to give a shout out to some of the guys that really helped out that day and have helped us out in general, you know, not just this particular day.
And you know, it's not a, you know, a lot of people call it luck.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think a little skill is involved, because you know what, there's a lot of fish in the ocean, don't get me wrong. For that one to bite off Boynton Beach, Florida, on that day when we were there, yeah, there's a coincidence, there's some luck.
Right.
But it took losing 3 fish this size to be able to know what to do to get the fish in the boat.
Right.
And shout out to Ray at Ray's Offshore Fishing Tackle in Boca.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I started working for him very young, and he always told me, he said, you want to have the best terminal tackle, the best hooks, the best line, everything connected to that fish, because you never know when you're going to have that fish of a lifetime come up.
Yeah.
So shout out to Ray's Offshore in Boca. If you guys want some really good baits, Ray's Offshore in Boca, they got the baits to catch 90-pound wahoos.
Yeah? Is that where you got your lures from?
Yeah.
You heard it from the man himself.
So then we have you know, Chase Young, Captain Chase Young, Real Rival Charters. He's been there for me since day one. You know, he took me under his wing when I was very young, and he showed me how to effectively fish a spread and why the fish bite, when they bite, how they bite, how to rig the baits. I mean, he really dialed me in. You know, and he put me on the fast track. So it's not, you go out there and do it again. It's, you know, it took, like I said, about 15 years.
Yeah.
Non-stop, you know, 4 a.m. mornings, late nights.
Making mistakes, doing it over, you know, losing fish, trying again.
And, you know, we developed a very strong network of fishermen. So Chris Agardy, shout out Chris Agardy. He's Fish Envy Charters.
Yeah,
Fish Envy Charters.
Yeah, all their Chase and Chris all have their information should be popping up on the screen, and
you know, he's been a big part of the success. You know, very reliable on information, fantastic fisherman. He's been fishing here his whole life.
I've mated charters for him before. Great guy. You know, he knows what he knows what he's doing, and he even taught me a few things.
Shout out to the boss man for teaching me how to wire big fish and always making sure I had a pair of gloves on. So we got Bobby, you know, Bobby. Bobby's always a saint, man. You know, when we're busy in school or work or whatever, you know, he'll go and fuel the boat for us.
Yeah, Bobby.
He always sends the bill, but he gets it done, you know.
Yeah, Bobby's been there for us and made sure through all our stupid mistakes, you know, fun times, whatever, that we've come out ahead.
And, you know, really, a lot of the friends in our group, you know, I don't know if they lost faith in me, but, you know, they stopped fishing with me for Wahoo because I don't know, you know, I'd rather go out there and put 4 or 5 days with no bites in there and then get a 50-pounder on the 6th day. Yeah. That's my style of fishing. I don't, you know, when we started fishing a strictly Wahoo program, I've caught down in the Keys, I mean, thousands of blackfin, millions of yellowtails, dolphin by the barrelfuls.
Oh, that was when it was good.
So I thank them for being so bored and keeping me entertained along the way and going fishing when they didn't want to. It was very nice of them for a very, very long time.
I've been there a fair amount of times, yes. But I had fun, and, you know, every now and then, oh, there's a 50-pound Wahoo on the boat. Would you look at that? So with that said, I think we'll put this video on a wrap here. I think we covered a whole lot, covered the whole story of what happened, some lot of details that pretty riveting, honestly. I mean, I really wish I was there. But
and let's do a quick recap. We went over hooking the fish, fighting the fish, leadering the fish, gaffing the fish,
attempting to gaff the fish.
You know, we just tickled them. Really, is what we did.
Yeah.
And
getting the fish into the boat, photos, weighing, filleting, and dealing with the haters, because welcome to 2020.
Yeah, you want to know when I'm going out there and really pulling. You go out there and fail as many times and spent probably damn near $200,000 chasing a fish like this. I'm not going to give you free information. And if you watch this video, don't ask me anymore. Go out there and earn it.
Yeah, I mean, that goes for any sort of fishing, really. So with that said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I mean, it's good to go back and have these conversations again, and make sure you drop a big old thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.
So you want to be a wahoo fisherman?